Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So today we are just going to start previous chapter, and today uh, I'm just going to start Ibn al-Haytham. Now here, Ibn al-Haytham, I'm just repeating it. Yesterday I was told you about the contribution of the Ibn al-Haytham. Now here again, Ibn al-Haytham was born at Basra in 975 AD and his death is 1039. Now he have to be worked on mathematics. That's why he is said to be mathematician, work on physics and optician. Now, now here, the first he work on, he is more known for his optical work which were translated in Latin. He explained the refraction of light rays through transparent object. Refraction, we can say a light which is passes through the transparent object, then it is said to be the reflection. He discovered magnifying glass. He explained the function of retina as the seat of vision. Seat of vision means retina work as a screen where the image can be formed. Now, the next first scientist who elaborated two laws of reflection. In previous class, we have studied about the laws of reflection. The first law of the reflection is that incident ray, reflected ray, and the normal lie on a same point. And the second law is that angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. He also constructed pinhole camera. Pinhole camera was constructed by him. It means that the pinhole camera is the fundamental camera. Now, it has, at this time, it has been much more upgraded. Now, he was the first person who declared that light is a light is a form of energy. Light is a form of energy. Identified gravity as a force. His fame lies in his book Kitabul Manazil, which is on optics. He is a scientist which tell about the function of the eye, tell about the construction of the eye. Now, the second Muslim scientist was Al-Biruni. His date of birth is 973 AD and his date of death is 1048 AD. Now, he also have been worked on the different objects. Mean the first contribution of Al-Biruni was explain the problems of advanced technometry. He explained the problems of advanced trigonometry. Now, secondly, he worked on gave theory that light travels faster than sound. The second contribution was that he gave the theory light travels faster than sound because light travels in a straight line while the sound travels in the form of waves. That's why sound required a medium for traveling while light does not require medium for traveling. Now the second contribution was that he described and explained fully the concept of longitude and latitude. Now, he gave idea that Earth is not stationary but rotate on its axis. And in the previously, the most of the philosophers said that Earth is in a state in a rest position or in the stationary position, but he proved that Earth is not in stationary position; it rotates on its axis. He learned Sanskrit language in order to investigate Indian knowledge. To get the Indian knowledge, he learned Sanskrit language. Now, the next contribution of Al-Biruni was he accurately determined the weight of 18 stone in physics. It means that he also worked as uh, a gems and stone. Now, he wrote many books, but here I just have to mention here. The first one is Tahqiq al-Hind, mean about history and social conditions of India in 11th century. Tahqiq al-Hind means about history and social conditions of India in 11th century. The second book was Kitab al-Jawahir. Kitab al-Jawahir, the book of gems and stones of different types. Now, the last book was very much important, that is the Kanun al-Masudi. Now, the next scientist was Dr. Abdul Qadir Khan. Dr. Abdul Qadir Khan is Pakistani scientist. Now, he also worked in the different way. Dr. Abdul Qadir Khan is a national hero and father of Pakistan nuclear bomb. Mean Dr. Abdul Qadir Khan just made the atomic bomb in Pakistan. So the second one is he is a famous Pakistani nuclear scientist and metallurgical engineer. Now here metallurgical metallurgy means in which we just scientific work on the different formation of the alloy by the different metals. Also, you just have to study about the metal, how to get the alloy, how to make the alloy, and when we are just going to provide the heat energy, or what will happen, what will be happen in the structure and composition of a metal. He is the founder of Gas Centrifuge Enrichment Technology for Pakistan's nuclear deterrent program. He is the founder of Gas Centrifuge Enrichment Technology for Pakistan's nuclear deterrent program. He recognized the Pakistani's National Space Agency, PARCO. He just have to be reorganized Pakistani's National Space Agency, SUPARCO. Now, second one was he has played an important role in Pakistan's space program. He has played an important role in Pakistan's space program, particularly the Pakistan's first polar satellite launch vehicles project. Now, polar satellite launch vehicle can be stand for PSLV. PSLV project. He is the founder of several engineering universities in Pakistan. He is the founder of several engineering universities in Pakistan. He has published more than 188 scientific research papers, scientific research papers in international journals. Under his supervision, the process of uranium enrichment was effectively accomplished and the successful testing firing of intermediate range ballistic missile Wari 1 in April 1998 and Wari 2 in April 1999. All of these are said to be the nuclear explosive missile. All of these are said to be the nuclear explosive missile. Now, the next scientist, Muslim scientist was Yaqub ibn Ishaq al-Kindi. His date of birth was 800 and date of death is 873. He was born in Basra in 800 AD. He was born in Basra in 800 AD. He was a great scholar of monograph, metrograph, specific gravity, and on tides. He was a great scholar of monograph, metrograph, specific gravity, and on tides. His most important work in sound and optics. His most important work in sound and optics, he discovered a method to express musical notes in terms of frequency. He discovered a method to express musical notes in terms of frequency. I mean, at the previously, no one knows about the frequency, but Yaqub ibn Ishaq al-Kindi stated that frequency having the vibration of the object. I mean, if an object is going to vibrate in a different way, so their frequency will be the different. So that's why this is going to be discovered about the method of the musical notes in terms of frequency. He discussed the nature of sound. He discussed the nature of sound. Now, the next Pakistani scientist was Abdul Salam. Abdul Salam is a very fabulous scientist. Abdul Salam get the Nobel Prize in Physics 1979. Abdul Salam get the Nobel Prize in Physics 1979. He born in 29 January 1926, Jung Manghina, Jung Manghina, India, now Pakistan. Died 21st November 1996, Oxford, United Kingdom. Affiliation at the time of the award, International Center for Theoretical Physics. He get the award according to the International Center for Theoretical Physics, Trieste, Italy, Imperial College London, United Kingdom. Main Center of Theoretical Physics is at Trieste, Italy. Now, my motivation was that for their contribution to the theory of the unified weak and electromagnetic interaction between elementary particles. Now, the main thing is that it just have to be work on the gut. When grand unification theory, GUT stand for grand unification theory. So here, including inter alia, the prediction of the weak neutral current, means it's just going to unify weak and electromagnetic interaction. Means he's just going to be combined or work together on the unified weak and, and the electromagnetic object, so he get a very weak and neutral current can be produced. So by this process get the Nobel Prize in Physics. Now, here we just have to be discussed or have to be study about the different terms according to the physics. So here in Alberon we have discussed about the cosmology, but how we can define the cosmology and what is the cosmology, you are thinking about that and you want to ask the question. Now here, this is the definition of the cosmology and the other way. Now, cosmology we can say the science of the origin and development of the universe. Modern cosmology is dominated by the Big Bang theory, which brings together observational astronomy and particle physics. Cosmology means origin and development of the universe. Means from where the universe come on, from where the earth come on, from where the stars come on, from where we get the different satellite. So all of these are based on cosmology, as well as which as well as which of the methodology are involving on it, which of the laws are involving on it. So in the cosmology, we just have to discuss about that. Now, according to the modern cosmology, we can say is dominated by the Big Bang theory. I mean, you just have to be studied or learn in the newspaper and in the video on YouTube about the Big Bang. Big Bang means whenever the satellite or any sort or any type of the uh, a satellite can be collide with the planet, so it is just going to be split into different particles. So that is said to be the Big Bang, as well as when the star when the star is going to be Big Bang or a split, so it is just going to be converted in the other particle. So which brings together observational astronomy and particle physics. Now, another way we can say an account of theory, an account or theory of the origin of the universe. Mean origin of the theory is also said to be the cosmology. Now here, another scientist Al-Kindi have to discuss about the longitude and latitude. Longitude. Now, this is this picture is showing that the latitude and the longitude. Now, the horizontal line, which is indicating by the red line, that will say that is the latitude. And in the latitude, we can observe that we just getting the two direction, the east and west, right? Longitude, this vertical line showing by the red line. So that is said to be the longitude, and longitude we also said to be the pole, and this one having that is the north and south. Now, so the definition about the longitude and the latitude, we can say latitude and longitude coordinate system by means of that is the coordinate system by means of which the position or location of any place on Earth's surface can be determined and described. Mean position or location of any place, okay, on Earth surface can be determined at and described latitude. Mean if we want to find out any sort of the country, so we just have to be identify where is what is the location of that country. So we just have to be observed on the map, and map is going to be allocate either it is at the latitude position or either at the longitude position. Now, second term was that monograph. A monograph is a work of research. A monograph is a work of research or literature written about a single specific subject. Mean monograph is a work of research or literature written about a single specific subject. Let's suppose yesterday we have discussed about the branch of the physics. Mean physics can be differentiated in the different branches like the mechanics, like the electricity, like the electromagnetism, like the nuclear physics, like the atomic physics, and so on. So, if we are just going to be study about the kinematics or dynamics or mechanics or electricity, so it means that we just have to discuss about the monograph. I mean, on a specific way, we are going to think about that. They think about that. We describe about that. We explain about that. So that's why we can say कि research or literature written about a single specific subject. It is primarily written by experts in a particular field of study for others in that field of study. Now, in the previously, you have observed that or you have learned about that a scientist having a different knowledge of in different subjects. Either it have to be a mathematician, it have to be optician, it have to be physicist, it have to be a chemist. It means that at the time it is just going to be worked in a different way. I mean, he can he is producing the medicine, he is giving the idea or giving the theory about the field, but at this situation the specialists have to be in a single way in a specific subject. That's why we can say the scientist is just going to be work in a monograph. Now, the language and information contained in a monograph is specialized. I mean, we can say it is a specialization. Also, I have to be described. Let's go. A person want to become a doctor. So first, he is getting the degree MBBS. But MBBS means that is a general physician. But if a person want to be expert in a different way, like eye, like heart, like urology, so he just have to be specialized on that field. Now, the next one is the specific gravity and on tides. Specific gravity and on tides. Specific gravity, we know very well that is the attraction between the two objects. Now, this means that an object that has, it means that an object that has more mass can exert uh, this means that an object that has more mass can exert more gravitational force. It means that if an object having the more mass, then its gravitational force will be greater. Let's suppose if on a height you having the two objects like a stone and the paper. The stone having the greater mass while the paper having the less mass. Then we are just going to be drop on the on a surface. So first of all, stone will reach on the surface, while after a few minutes, then the paper will come down. Why? Because that is said to be more mass can exert more gravitational force, while the less mass having the less gravitational force. So that's right. This means that an object that has more mass can exert more gravitational force on another object. And the closer two objects are to one another, the greater the other. Now here in the doctor uh, uh, we have just discussed the SUPARCO. SUPARCO stands for Space and Upper Atmosphere Research Commission. SUPARCO stands for Space and Upper Atmosphere Research Commission. Now, after that, we are just going to discuss about the classification of error. Now, here you know very well. Here you know very well. Okay, in the different way, we are just going to get the different error, or it may be error right now, and it will not be error in the way. So, we having the three types of the error. That is the personal error, that is the instrumental error, the systematic error, and the third one is the random error. Now here, the next topic is the experimental error. Now, it can be defined as it is as the difference between the measured and the actual value. Now here, it means that okay, when we are just going to take the measurement of the any object, so there will be a difference. So what have to be different? Mean their actual value can be equal, the actual value can be not equal, and If there will be not equal, so it means there is a error. So let's suppose we are going to measure length of a table, and the actual length of the table is 4 feet. So we are just taking an instrument to measure the table, that is the measuring tape. So we are just going to calculate it, means from 0 to the 4 feet. If their value are not equal, so it means there is an error. So we can say, okay, as the difference between the measured and the actual value, then it means that that is the experimental error. Now, there are three types of error. There are three types of the error. The first one we can say that is a personal error. The second one we can say that is the instrumental error, or in other words, we can say that is the systematic error. And the third one is said to be the random error. Now, first we are going to define the personal error. So, personal error can be defined as the error due to fault of observer, for example, carelessness in taking observation. Again, I'm going to repeat it. Personal error means the error due to fault of observer, for example, carelessness in taking observation. So, we are not getting the absolute value or the absolute result of the observation. Let's suppose we are going to count the number of vibration of a simple pendulum. If we are not going to concentrate on it, so their number of vibration can be changed, cannot be equal, can be greater or can be lesser. So it means that we are not going to care to take the number of observation. So that is said to be the personal error. Somehow we can say, if we are just going to perform an experiment and if we are not going to observe it very carefully, so we cannot take the absolute result. So that is said to be the personal error. Now, the next error is said to be the instrumental error or systematic error. So here we can say that the error due to fault in the measuring instrument, then it is said to be the zero error or zero error of the instrument. Let's suppose if we are taking an instrument vernier caliper to measure the length of the cylinder. So if we are just going to combine the jaws of the vernier caliper, and if their mean value is not equal to or not coinciding with the vernier caliper 0, so it means that there is an error of the instrument. So first we are just going to clear it or upgrade it, then we are using that instrument. As well as if we are going to take the uh, measurement of the length of paper, but the measuring tape have been tear up, so there is not shows the actual 0, mean it is just going away up to the decreasing the 2 mm. So what will happen? So here we just, when we are taking the measurement of the length of the paper, so it will be not absolute value, we are not getting the absolute value. So that where error arises due to the mistake or fault in the measuring tape. So that is said to be the instrumental error. Now, also we can say this error can be overcome by adopting the relevant zero error correction. This error can be overcome by adopting the relevant zero error. Means relevant zero error means either it can be positive error or either it can be the negative error. So by the rule or by the rule and the by the law we can clear it. The third types of the experiment is said to be the random error. Mean the error may arise due to external conditions where which are at a certain time beyond the control of the experimenter. Now, it means that if there is a problem with respect to the surrounding or with respect to the condition of the environment, so it can be affected already. So the good example of the changes in temperature, humidity, voltage. I'm just going to giving the example of the voltage. If there will be a changing in the voltage, mean low and higher, so the fan is not going to having the absolute speed. If there is a low voltage, so the speed will be slowed down. If there is a higher voltage, so what will be happen? Maybe its capacitor can be breakdown, its capacitor can be we can say export. So that is the problem of the voltage. As well as in temperature, whenever the temperatures rise up, so their speed of the we can say evaporation will be increases. And if the temperature is lower, then the speed of evaporation will be decreasing. So let's suppose in the pharmaceutical company, we are just going to make a tablet. So the tablet required 20 degrees centigrade, but environmental temperature is greater than 20 centigrade or less than the 20 degrees centigrade. So it means it will not give us the absolute condition and thickness of the tablet. So it is just going to affect the temperature is going to affect on the manufacturing of the tablet. Now, same as that humidity. Humidity is also very much effective on the experimental condition. Uh, uh, some of the material does not require the humidity, does not require the high temperature, does not require the low temperature, does not require the lowest humidity. So it is just going to affect on the condition. Now at the last, I'm just giving you the home task. The first you have the first question is define physics and its branches, which you have learned in the previous lecture. Now the second question is what is the importance of physics in our daily life? Also you have laid it. And the third one is describe the contribution of the following scientists. Third question is describe the contribution of the following scientists. Also you have learned in the previous lecture. Now the fourth question is define error and its type. Fourth question is define error and its type. So this topic we have learned at this situation. So all of the definition is present in the slide as well as its type. Now the textbook task is that complete whole exercise from book page number 11. Thank you so much, student. Allah Hafiz.